step to the right.
You're gonna hit the top.
You'll just float. You'll float.
Really? Yeah. Go. Jump.
No.
Population 1 released in October of 2020 and is by far the most popular and well-polished VR Battle Royale game released to date. The fact that I can still hop into a game all these months later within seconds really shows how consistent and healthy the player base has been, which is essential for maintaining any Battle Royale game, and this is more so true for VR since the player base is already much smaller in comparison to traditional consoles like Xbox or PlayStation. Anyway, the game is really a lot of fun, and it's made even more fun through the use of bHaptics, which is made possible via an unofficial mod by a cool dude named Sir Coolness. Link to his Patreon is below. I'll take you through how to set it up, what it's like, how it performs, and just give my thoughts overall. Just remember right now that this mod is only for PC VR, however Sir Coolness is in the process of getting it to work on the Quest, so if you're watching in future maybe that's done by now. Timestamps are below. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is join the bHaptics Population 1 Discord server. There's a link for this in the description of this video, but if it doesn't work for whatever reason, then you can also get there by navigating to the bHaptics player, then opening up the bHaptics portal as shown. After this, go to the Population 1 panel and click the little link icon. This will then redirect you to the bHaptics Population 1 Discord server. If you don't have a Discord account, make one at this stage so you can get access to the files you need, and then once you have a Discord account and you're in the server, the next thing that you need to do is get verified. So just read the rules and send a message of verification to the admins, which is basically just a picture of your bHaptics gear so that they know you're legit. Once you're verified, you'll gain full access to the server. After this is done, you can get to actually installing the mod. So the initial thing here is to get Melon Loader. The link for this is located back in the bHaptics portal under the Pop 1 tab, under the eye icon. Then where it says download, clicking the Melon Loader link will automatically give the option to download the Melon Loader installation. From here you can download it anywhere, but for the sake of simplicity and ease of use, just download it to wherever your Population 1 folder is. If you don't know where this is, go to Steam, Library, then find Population 1. Right click it and go to Manage, then Browse Local Files. This will take you to the directory where your Population 1 files are all located. Wherever this path is, download the Melon Loader installer here. Run the Melon Loader installer and ensure that under Settings you have Show Alpha Pre-Releases. Once this is done, go back to the Automated menu and untick Latest. Once this is done, we are able to select Melon Loader as version 0.3.0 since this is the version that we need in order to make the mod work. So at the time of making this video, the mod is only compatible with version 0.3.0 and not 0.4.0 or higher. If you're watching this video after it's uploaded and you're having issues, just try switching between a couple versions and that should fix the issue. So once you have 0.3.0 selected, click Select Game, and then once again navigate to wherever your Population 1 folder is located, but this time just select the Population 1 game executable. Click Install on Melon Loader and just wait for it to finish. After this, there is one final step, which is downloading the rest of the files from the Discord server. So go back to Discord, find the Downloads tab, and download the latest version of the bHaptics pop1.dll file from here. Download this under the Mods tab back in your Population 1 directory and you're done. One thing that I should also mention is that once you run the game once, you will get this folder in the Mods tab which is called Settings. So this basically just lets you turn off or on any effects that you do or don't like, which is great because you can tailor the experience to exactly how you want it. You can also change the intensities of different accessories from within here, though you could just also do this from the bHaptics player too if you like. So that's everything. Now you just connect your accessories and play. So these are some extra steps that you have to take if you are using a Quest through PC VR with an application like Virtual Desktop or something like that, because remember the mod is only for PC VR at the time of making this video. Just follow these steps that are shown, though I'm not sure I'll be able to help if there's any issues because I don't have a Quest and I'm not really sure about Revive and other stuff like that. The only thing that I know is that if your Population 1 game is not showing in the Revive dashboard, right click the application from your PC in the bottom right and then click Inject. So when Revive is running, it will show up in your bottom right on Windows, just on the desktop. Just right click it, click Inject, and then you can find the Population 1 game and run it from here rather than from the Revive dashboard if it's not showing up there. So, reviewing the whole process, I do think the process is a little long-winded. This is mainly due to the fact that you have to redirect to Discord to obtain the necessary files for the mod, and for both first-time users of bHaptics and people who don't have Discord accounts, this can seem a little tedious. On top of this, you also have to get verified to gain full access to the Discord server, so this might take a little while depending on how quickly the admins reply or how active they are. For me though, it was like within 2 minutes, it was very quick, so yeah. On top of this, I say this in literally every video, but ideally we would have native support for every game that has bHaptics support instead of having to rely on third-party mods. Basically, with Population 1, after speaking with Sir Coolness, he said that big box do not endorse or condemn this mod, but they are also not in any rush at all to get native support out for the game, since this mod does already exist, which does a really good job already. For this reason, I do think it's pretty unlikely that we will get native support for Population 1 anytime soon, if ever. So taking all of this into account, I'd give the final score for the set a solid 3 out of 5. The steps are definitely relatively simple, as you basically just have to download, drag and drop some files, and that's it. However, the process of getting Discord, like registering for it, getting verified and so on, just mean that they are somewhat time consuming, along with a pretty small chance of running into issues. So overall, I think this score is more than fair. So as far as support games go, this is definitely one of the better ones I've tried. Of course, you have the basics such as feeling gunshots and recoil, which is nice, but where this mod really shines is the integration of its effects into the extra gameplay mechanics of this specific game that you do all the time within Pop 1 but aren't necessarily present in other shooter games. So for example, when you glide, there's a sort of wave sensation that you feel going across your body, which is supposed to replicate the feeling of wind hitting your body. Climbing also relays nice feedback to the arms and vests, which are the two accessories I own and tested the game with. These sort of stuff you don't really do in other shooter games like Pavlov. There's no flying or gliding or Half-Life Alyx and stuff like that, so that's why I'm saying it's specific to this game, which is nice. Further things such as your shield breaking relay a quick sensation to alert you of this, which is really nice, as it means you don't have to rely solely on visual or auditory cues to inform you of changes in gameplay states. You can literally feel it too, which just adds another layer of immersion. There's loads of others, as well as like any interactions with the pod and even being touched by other players or fist bumping them a teammate, all relay the relevant feedback sensations that you would expect. So here's the full list if you're interested. There's honestly too many for me to go over individually, so just try to hold your breath, see if you can get to the end on 3, 2, 1. Reloading, recoil, drink bubbling, climbing, rubbing defib, charging defib, breaking disruption, consuming food, dropping item, fall damage, flying wind, falling wind, banana heal, victory, low HP, harvey, shield break, full shield, melee hit, pick up item, bullet hit, explosion hit, revived, enter pod, launch pod, flying pod, fall pod, land pod. Reload, select item, hide item, zone damage, inside zone, play touch, velocity, fist bump, fried, melee block, melee shield, melee slice, melee velocity, land on ground. And there's probably others which I missed, I don't even know, so yes, there is a lot. Okay, so with that out of the way, how do all of these effects actually work together? Do they work well, and is it worth it? Yes, yes, and yes. The mod is amazing overall, and I really can't recommend it enough. Just remember that this is not a natively supported mod. It is done by literally one person. Sir Coolness, his Patreon is in the description. And with around 40 effects in total, you really have an abundance to try out. Just as a side note, one thing in particular that low-key impressed me was, which I was not expecting, is actually just how accurate it was when you got shot. So I don't have footage of this, but I remember the first time ever I was trying Population 1 with the vest and the arms. I was climbing up this tall building on the ladder, and suddenly I felt gunshot sensations in my lower left back, which was an enemy shooting at me from somewhere that I couldn't immediately see. So this paired with the on-screen indicator made me just instantly recognize where the enemy was, and I was able to turn around and kill him. I was caught off guard by the guy shooting me, and caught off guard with how accurate the placement of the haptics was. The other thing is that the integration when it comes to the different groups of weapons does not have a huge variation in intensities, spread patterns and so on. Comparing to Pavlov here, for example, where almost every weapon has different intensities and spread patterns, it was very noticeable and added a lot in terms of immersion and contributed a lot to the feeling of really handling different individual guns or different types of weapons. In Population 1, of course, for smaller pistols, ARs, shotguns, snipers and so on, there are different intensities. However, when it came to each individual gun in their respective groups, I could not really distinguish between each singular weapon, at least not as much as compared to Pavlov, which is the best shooter game I've tried so far with haptics in this regard, as it's extremely easy to distinguish different weapons from one another. In Pop 1 this is present, but just not to the same extent as Pavlov takes it. All the pistols roughly feel the same, all the shotguns roughly feel the same, as well as the SMGs, ARs and so on, whereas in Pavlov you can literally feel the difference between a bolt action sniper and a much more powerful or heavier sniper. The contrast is a lot more pronounced in that than it is in Pop 1. Or say for an auto shotgun compared to a double-barreled shotgun in Pavlov, the variation is much more varied in Pavlov than it is in Population 1, I think. This is not a huge negative, but if I had to give feedback, this would just be something to improve on, just for that extra bit of immersion. Other than this, honestly, everything was there, so no more complaints. So the final score I would give for the gameplay and integration is a 4 out of 5. This is because there's definitely room for improvement with making the haptic patterns for the different gun types more varied, as well as maybe tweaking some sensitivities for the various patterns, as some I felt were a little strong while others were a little weak. I know that you can increase or decrease the intensity of the vest through the bHaptics player, however doing this would scale the rest of all of the effects with it, since you can't individually adjust each effect by themselves, if that makes sense. This is completely down to preference. One thing that all developers should aim for in future when implementing bHaptics into their games is to basically do what Sir Coolness did and allow the user themselves to toggle certain effects on and off for stuff that they do or don't like. If they want to go the extra mile again, so taking this a step further, it would be really amazing if Sir Coolness or other developers could also let players change the intensities of individual effects rather than just toggling them on and off. Yeah, this is definitely going the extra mile. I don't even know if it's possible or what, but I do think that a lot of people would really appreciate it, since they can tailor the experience to exactly how they like it. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for the gameplay and integration. I think this is fair, but let me know if you think differently. So if you haven't seen my previous video in the series, which was about Survive the Dark, I've added this section in basically just as sort of mini review of the experience of the game as a whole. So with Population 1, I'm honestly kind of a noob. I don't have that many hours of playtime overall, so who even knows if I'm qualified to make this video. But I would say most of the time, like probably over 90% of my total playtime, I did play with that haptics vest and arms. So yeah, I do think the haptics are a pretty good fit overall for shooter games in general. Battle Royale VR games are definitely no exception. This game, of course, is more arcadey based when it comes to certain actions such as reloading, interacting with objects and such. There is a lack of physics interaction, and so you don't have to be super accurate with certain motions when compared to with something like, say, Pavlov or Boneworks, which is definitely more realistic and physics based. Performance wise, I had no issues running this on an RTX 2070 Super, and the gameplay, graphics and so on is all really well done and polished overall. I do think that the haptics add quite a bit, and I would definitely recommend playing with them. I didn't have any real negative experiences, and I never regretted setting them up for play sessions or going through the setup times. Yeah, I really need to go to sleep, that's why I'm whispering, so yeah, there's not really much more to say here, except thanks for watching all the way to the end. I think I might do Boneworks next, but I do need to play through the whole campaign first before I make a video on it with the haptics, so it might be a little while, but yeah, maybe I'll do Beat Saber or something like that beforehand, I'm not sure. Yeah, this took a while because I was ill, so if my voice sounds a bit weird, then that's probably why, because my throat is still kind of messed up or whatever, but yeah. Alright, oh yeah, thanks for 150 subs as well, let's go. Alright, I'm gonna go watch some anime and then sleep. Take care.